Hey everyone, welcome back to our weekly explainer, where we try to make sense of the biggest stories. And wow, this week, tech is moving at an absolutely breakneck pace. We're talking trillion-dollar companies, phones that fold not once, but twice. And we're going to look at who gets left behind when progress moves this fast. Okay, let's just dive right in. So, just take a look at this number on your screen. $5 trillion. Now, that's not some country's national debt. It's not a government's budget. Nope, that is the brand new market value for just one technology company. And this slide right here really puts that number into perspective. The company we're talking about is Nvidia, and its value has now officially blown past the entire economy of Germany. I mean, think about that. All of Germany's industries, all of its products, everything outmatched by a single company. So, what on earth is driving this unbelievable surge? Well, you guessed it. It all comes down to AI. The race to build the best, the fastest, the smartest artificial intelligence has kicked off a financial gold rush like we've never seen before, and it's completely redrawing the map of the tech world. But, this kind of meteoric rise, it's also making a lot of people ask some pretty serious questions.
Yeah, this kind of growth has a lot of market watchers. Well, they're getting pretty nervous. As you can see from this quote, there's a real feeling that we are in the middle of a massive AI bubble. For a company like Nvidia, this meant pivoting away from their original fans, gamers, to focus almost completely on AI hardware. And the big question everyone's asking is, what happens when, or maybe if, this bubble finally pops?
And make no mistake, it is an absolute arms race. Sure, Nvidia is way out in front, but everyone wants a piece of that pie. You've got Qualcomm, who usually makes mobile chips, now jumping into making dedicated AI server chips. Samsung is pouring a ton of money into its new AI-focused processors. And it's not just about giant data centers. It's trickling all the way down to the phone in your pocket, with new chips being sold almost entirely on how good their AI performance is. Okay, so all this talk about the chips and the software inside is fascinating, but you gotta wonder, right? How is it going to change the actual devices we hold in our hands every day? What's the next big thing for smartphones? Well, it seems like that classic glass slab we're all so used to might have some serious competition on the horizon. So, get ready for this, the Tri-Fold. Samsung has officially confirmed they're working on a device that folds not once, but twice. Imagine this. You start with what feels like a normal 6-inch phone. Then you unfold it, and then you unfold it again, and suddenly you're holding a seamless 10-inch tablet. It's a seriously wild piece of engineering that could totally change what we expect a phone to be. And Samsung is definitely not the only one pushing the hardware limits. Over at Huawei, they're reportedly stuffing the largest camera sensor ever into their next phone, trying to get to that true pro-level photography. Oppo is tackling the #1 complaint about foldable phones, the battery life, with a rumored monster 6,000 mAh battery. And, this is really cool, Intel is working with a company called BOE on laptop screens that can slow all the way down to a 1 Hz refresh rate. That could be a massive game changer for battery life. Okay, but all this relentless pushing for what's new and what's next, it brings up a really critical question. As all these companies are racing to the future, what's their responsibility to the people who bought the last big thing? Who gets supported and who just gets left in the dust? And you really couldn't ask for a better example than what we saw of this week. We have two major companies taking completely opposite paths. First, you've got AMD, who announced they're just going to stop releasing game-optimizing drivers for their RX 5000 and 6000 series graphics cards. We're talking hardware people bought just a few years ago. But then, on the complete other side of the coin, you have Sony, who just released a software update for their older cameras, giving them brand new AI-powered features that didn't even exist when those cameras first came out. And for you, the person who actually buys this stuff, the impact is huge. If you own one of those AMD cards, your hardware still works perfectly fine, but it's basically frozen in time. It's not going to get better at running new games. Meanwhile, if you're a Sony Cara owner, your expensive investment just got more valuable, for free. It just goes to show how a company's decision can totally define how long the tech you buy actually lasts. And look, this crazy pace isn't just happening in the world of AI and phones. Innovation is speeding up everywhere. So let's do a quick lightning round of some of the other really fascinating things that happened this week. First up, over in the 3D printing world, a company called Prusa is pushing for a universal standard for filament. The idea is super simple, but it's a game changer. Make it so any roll of filament from any company just works in any printer, automatically sharing info like color and material. It's a huge win for consumers.
Then there's this, and you just got to hear this one. A $20,000 humanoid robot butler from a company called Nio. It can do chores for you. But here's the wild part. It's not actually that smart. Most of the time, there's a real human back at the company controlling it with what's basically a joystick. So the future is here. It just needs a little help. In the drone world, DJI's next big thing got accidentally leaked by a content creator in a full unboxing video. Whoops. The big news here looks to be new sensors all over the drone, which should make it way, way better at not crashing into things.
And finally, YouTube is trying to use AI to make old, blurry videos look nice and sharp in HD. But after some early tests made people's faces look, pretty weird, they've wised up. Now they're giving creators the choice to just opt out, which is a great move to keep their classic videos looking exactly how they're supposed to. So when you take a step back and you look at all this together, I mean, $5 trillion companies, tri-folding phones, remote-controlled robots, the pace of it all is just staggering. And it really leads to a huge question, doesn't it? Is all this acceleration, all this speed, actually making our lives better? Or is it just making things more complex, more expensive, and ultimately more disposable? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.